welcome to the shot of the day. Let's talk some Kansas City Chiefs football. The Chiefs beat the Broncos 29-19, or should I say the Donkeys, because what's another name for a donkey? An ass. And what'd we do to that ass last night? We tapped that ass. We tapped that ass 29-19 on a big bounce back win for the Chiefs. Of course, they had 10 days to prepare against a real weak sauce offense that are the Denver Broncos, a top defense, if not the best in the league. It was a pretty boring game last night for the most part. There were spikes of excitement, like the Peters touchdown, the Kelsey touchdown, and then, boy, that's who did the most ass-tapping last night, was Smith to Kelsey. Kelsey just loves to tap that ass. He taps that ass. There was so much ass-tapping on going last night that they should have strapped a keg to the burrow that are the Denver Donkeys and just double tap that ass. I mean, Kelsey could have done a keg stand on top of the burrow while tapping that ass, which explains his kind of weak sauce dance. He's got lame end zone celebrations, but I kind of weirdly like him. Last night was kind of a rendition of the running man, but it was more of a galloping man, like he was riding the donkey or tapping that ass. We'll call it the reverse. Not the reverse running man, we'll call it the galloping reverse cowgirl, because it was basically a sexual position what Kelsey was doing to the Denver Broncos last night. Yeah, that's what we'll call it. Or maybe bring out Usher and the Style Boys and we do a donkey roll in the end zone. But let's not get too excited. It was kind of a boring game, mainly in the second half where the offense could do nothing, which is a little concerning. But let's face it, Denver is a top 3 defense in the league, if not the best defense, probably better than when they won the Super Bowl. Their offense is weak sauce. And what do you expect when they got a quarterback named Trevor Seaman? I mean, Trevor rhymes with never, and I don't think he'll ever start in the NFL again after that performance. But, you know, with a name like Trevor Seaman, I mean, dude's just asking to be raped by Kevin Spacey. And once you've been raped Kaiser Soze style, there's no coming back. But the good news is Trevor Seaman has a really hot girlfriend, which good for him. That's a good consolation prize. And who doesn't, you know, want a hot chick that loves semen? Trevor Seaman has got a hot chick who loves semen. So boom, let's get back to the game. High points, defense, takeaways, turnovers. Houston is back, and I don't know. He was having problems with his calf. He got a younger calf. He must have went and grabbed some veal and transplanted it into his lower leg. He was awesome last night. It was good to see. DJ made some run stops on defense, but he's getting old, and it's showing. When Danny Sorensen is your lead tackler, that means the running back is getting through the line, the linebackers, and into the secondary. That's not a good thing. Our run defense still shaky at best, but our cornerback stepped up. Peters with, stripping the ball, making it rain, just stripping. He was at Deja Vu Cheetahs, stripping the ball from poor Jamal Charles, who should have just been there in pasties and a thong. I mean, I felt bad. I love Jamal Charles. I actually predicted, and I'm glad I was wrong, I predicted the Chiefs would lose this game because I was probably an emotional drama queen reacting from the last loss. And they tried to reproduce the Steelers' blueprint, but it went blue steel on them, like Brock Star Osweiler, blue steel. Just sit there and look good, don't play good. Why they didn't, I mean, that's how bad the quarterback situation is in Denver, but we'll get into that later. I mean, Peters stripped the ball from Charles, took it in. That was impressive, though. Peters, like prime time, when you're getting criticized by prime time for not tackling, that means you're really not tackling later on. But Peters, our best cornerback, all right? He's our best cornerback. One of the best in the league. The only thing that concerns me, he does a great play. Strips the ball, okay? This is my only problem with Peters, is he's a little cuckoo up here. He's a little cuckoo, does a great job stripping the ball. TD, what's he do? A known penalty. Dunking over the goalpost. Just not using the head. And I've said that all season long. When's he going to do that and cost us a game? Later on, he got an interception. Great interception. But what does he do? He's carrying the ball out like this. Like who wants it? Like a loaf of bread. That is not smart football. But luckily, Stevie Nelson was back off IR after his, what do they call it, a core muscle injury. Pfft, what kind of bullshit is that? Core muscle? It's a hernia, all right? It's a hernia. It's when you got a third nut down there, and good for him. I mean, he nutted up. He's our only quarterback other than Marcus Peters that nutted up, and maybe it's the hernia down there that he had repaired. It's not. It's a hernia. It's not a core muscle injury. You get a core muscle injury while you're wearing some freaking Lululemon yoga pants, sweating in a yoga studio with a bunch of creepy-ass vegans that are farting out their workout. Disgusting. Hernia, not core muscle workout. But Alex Smith, once again, proving me wrong. I'm not like Fonzie. I have no problem saying I'm wrong. I love being wrong. And I've been wrong about this Chiefs team, though we can't get too excited about this win. I mean, Andy Reid had 10 days to prepare. Anytime, that's the problem with Andy Reid, is does he have enough time to prepare? Anytime he has more than a regular week to prepare, he's money. Short weeks are an issue. Regular weeks can sometimes be an issue depending on the... But anytime he's coming off a longer break or a mini bye week like this, he is money. But last night, you know, granted, the Denver D is awesome. Offense is brutal, all right? So you wonder if they had, you know, a halfway better offense, would the Chiefs have won? Because we're kind of going back, though. Alex Smith, I have no complaints. I mean, he's throwing the ball a little high. It looks like a freaking alley-oop. He's constantly going alley-oop to Travis Kelce, who we now know has an awesome vertical because he's having to get up there. He's got about a 46-inch vertical to catch some of those passes. But like I said, Alex Smith is this Chiefs this year, his big dick player. Big dick player just slinging around, dragging his dick across the grave of the Denver Donkeys, tapping that ass with the help of with Kelce. And like I said, Houston, Peters, those are your four MVPs last night. Comeback players, Steve Nelson. Murray somehow showed up and committed a penalty at some point. But our offense got a little stale. Of course, that's a great front on the Denver Donkeys. I mean, that's an awesome front. They're going to bottle up Hunt as the season goes along. I get concerned about the wear and tear on a rookie. We saw Jamal Charles come back, which I thought, like I said, they would do the Steelers blueprint and Jamal Charles would run wild. He'd started to until he had that fumble. And the Denver was able to run a shitload on the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a big concern, especially going into the Cowboys this week. Who knows if they're going to have Zeke Elliott or not? I mean, I don't know. I think that's what the game hinges upon. I would assume they will have Zeke Elliott. If Dallas is smart, they make him take the suspension right now. They're not going to be able to cut a deal with Roger Goodell now because Jerry Jones, you know, voted no against Roger Goodell's extension. He's not going to do any favors for the Cowboys. I think Zeke Elliott needs to take the 6-game, you know, suspension now, which will help the Chiefs. McFadden doesn't scare me. Morris doesn't scare me. Then again, every running back, you know, does good against the Red Cross, gets healthy against the Red Cross Chiefs defense. So that does bother me. But I think really who wins that game is based on if Zeke Elliott plays or not. But we'll get into that later. Dallas, I think, you know, pride becometh before a fall. Plenty of hubris down in Dallas with Jerry Jones. I think he'll fight it. Most likely be able to find a judge to pay off, to extend it, you know, maybe into next season. Who knows? I don't care. We just got to get another Chiefs win. And this is a big win, potentially, if we can pull it off against the Cowboys going into another bye week, which gives Andy Reid more time to prepare. At the time I shot this video, the Chiefs had not made a trade yet. I think we need to make a trade. I don't think it's going to happen unless it happens in the next couple hours after I shot this video. There were rumors going around that maybe we need to trade for a receiver, if anything. Because Demarcus Robinson last night, I like him. He's developing. He's a little thin, but he's fast. But he got alligator arms. Don't go out to dinner with freaking Demarcus Robinson after last night's game because he's got the alligator arms. He can't reach for a ball. He sure as hell ain't going to reach for a dinner check. He's a little T-Rex arms there. Should have grabbed that ball because he's going to take that hit regardless. I mean, you're going to get at least have the ball between you and the defender to act as like an airbag, all right? But he short-armed that a little bit. Luckily, he got the penalty. But if he wouldn't have, he would have been highly criticized for that. We need a wide receiver. There were rumors of Megatron coming out of retirement. Sounds good on paper. Sounds good in fantasy football. He's a big receiver, big catch radius, obviously Hall of Famer. But does he really have the heart to come back after, or does he become Lynch, Marshawn Lynch, and is his longest play going to be running off the sideline into the locker room? Who knows? Who knows? Megatron sound in fantasy land sounds good. Practically, I think the T.Y. Hilton rumors were better at wide receiver. I take anything at wide receiver. T.Y. Hilton, hell, I take Paris Hilton at wide receiver because she'd go down the field anywhere, all right? And she's catching balls left and right. She's never dropped the ball. She's storing balls in her mouth like a squirrel stores nuts for the winter. She would make a great wide receiver for the Chiefs. Just saying. If we can't trade for T.Y. Hilton or any other wide receiver, I say trade for Paris Hilton. Last night's game, though, we're going old school. We're relying on the field goal. Field goals instead of touchdowns. Granted, that's going to happen some against a great Denver defense, but that worries me. Luckily, we got a hell of a butt kicker. He's a big leg. Poor Cairo Santos is now back at the Shire, the Brazilian Hobbit, down with Frodo and Sam in Rio de Janeiro having carnival. I don't feel that bad for him. He's having a good time down there. But that worries me. And you need a good kicker, especially when it comes to the playoffs. But once again, and I do not blame Alex Smith for this, and Mitch Morris back at center helped us a lot. A lot of guys in the offensive line played well, except Eric Fisher. Why? Why is Eric Fisher always just getting blown up? This is what worries me about Eric Fisher. Twice it happened last night when there was encroachment, defensive offsides, on Eric Fisher's side. And after the whistle's blown and the flag is thrown, Eric Fisher jumps up and is like going after the guy, like throwing fake punches, like, like you're lucky the ref blew that whistle or I was going to blow you up. Eric Fisher, that shit would only play in the WWE, maybe, all right? I mean, Eric Fisher really scares me at left tackle, but like I said, Alex Smith has adjusted well to our deficiencies on the offensive line. I would have liked to seen go get Dwayne Brown out of the Texans, as well, but I don't know if we had enough to trade or were willing to give up as much as Seattle did, because it looks like Seattle, may be the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. We still got to get through the Steelers and the Patriots. Actually, the Steelers worry me more than the Patriots because they have the blueprint. They have the people to get it done. They have a defense that is as good as Denver, maybe a hair less, but with that offense, we play like we played last night against the Steelers, you're probably going to lose that game or it's a hell of a lot closer because, Denver had a chance to win. If Benny Fowler doesn't drop that in the end zone and drop some other passes, Benny should be heading to the Jets right now. I would cut his ass right now with those big drops because the Chiefs, even at home, and I would say there was more of a home field advantage last night. I think Arrowhead has lost that, but I think that did help at the beginning of the game. But there was no, even when they played a little, stand up and shout! Really didn't get it done, really didn't motivate us in any way. The defense was fired up, but, that's the problem. There were these flash plays that, don't get distracted by the flash plays. Houston played like a freaking man. I think, was he the Gruden grinder? Who knows? I got to tune out Gruden because, I don't know, he's starting to bug me. I love him, but boy, he just loves everything too much. But Houston, I think, was really the defensive player of the game. Peters had flashes, but it distracted from our poor run defense. Smith to Kelsey, great. Tyreek Hill, kind of a no-show. Smith did overthrow him, and, Smith is going for a record of not throwing INTs. I think he was due one, but luckily Tyreek Hill threw the interception for him. What the hell is Tyreek Havoc? Tyreek Havoc's on our turnover sets. What the hell is he throwing that ball? Why the hell are you, I know it's trick or treat time, but gonna call boo for Halloween on Andy Reid's play calling in the red zone. Boo, boo, and I'm not, because it scares me. It scares me, the play calling in the red zone. Why do you have Tyreek Hill? And it was a bad decision on his part. I think he had an avenue to run. I don't know if he would have made it to the end zone, but it was a terrible pass. I mean, he is still better than Trevor Seaman, though. I mean, his passing was still better than Trevor Seaman. But why do you have Tyreek Hill throwing the ball? And that's not the time or place. You're up, I think, 14-0 at that point. Just get it done. Get in the end. Don't get cute. That's a problem with the Chiefs. They get involved in this trickery, one in a treat, and it could end up in defeat. Just saying. You can't. There's a time and place for that, and that was not neither the time nor the place. I mean, it would have been great if it would have gone off. I mean, the place would have gone nuts. But that was a problem with last night's game. And granted, Denver's got a great D, so it's going to be tough to do. But I think that was the turning point of the game, that Tyreek interception, where we could have blown them out and just really dominated. And we tapped that ass already, but I'm talking about humping the leg, for 60 minutes, full domination, just saying, like an unneutered pit bull. I mean, just on that leg, on it. Good Lord. I mean, the game was pretty. I just kind of lost interest in the second half. I was more concerned, with the Shane Ray story, Kansas City Kansas City guy, who grew up in the murder factory. I just love the fact that Kansas City is called the murder factory. Let's just go with that. Touchdown, murder factory. Let's just call Arrowhead, change the name to the murder factory, because we need to start killing teams in there. Not trying to euthanize them peacefully, Kevorkian style, all right? I'm talking, I want some hardcore gangsta drive-by shit. Total blowout. Oh, the murder factory. I like the murder factory. I am from the murder factory. I don't tell people I'm from Kansas City anymore. I just call it the murder factory. And, it's sad that it is called the murder factory, but good barbecue in the murder factory. Now I question what those ribs and burnt ends actually are. Don't care. Tasty. If I got to go cannibal in KC at Gates, Kansas City Joe's, Arthur Bryant's, so be it. I am not beyond eating people if I'm drunk and hungry. Let's get down to the game a little bit more. Talk about the murder. Nelson's back. Baby got back. D Ford hurt his back. We got Albert Wilson with a bad hammy. That was I don't know how bad it is, but another reason. That's Alex Smith's whoopee. That's his whoopee. Linus needs his blanket. And that's what Albert Wilson is. If he's out, another reason we need to trade for Paris Hilton. Albert Wilson has got a bad hammy. It's so bad, radical Muslims are walking by Albert Wilson, pointing at the back of his leg and going, bad hammy, bad hammy, bad hammy, bad hammy. Whatever that means. Let's see. Oh, I do have a problem with, once again, another primetime game. We got back to the injuries. D Ford, Mitch Morse made it all the way through. Nelson made it all the way through. I saw Holly on the sidelines. We may need him to maybe help with the run stop, but he's old. I don't know. The run D bothers me. D Ford's back. I don't know how bad it is, but I got a feeling for some reason I don't think it's that bad. And D Ford, I don't know. They brought in that rookie, I think, from Villanova, who's just a physical beast. If he's an answer to the pressure more if D Ford's out, so be it. Once again, I got to bring up my weekly complaint about the Chiefs cheerleaders. Okay, another primetime game, and the Chiefs cheerleaders, granted, it was cold, but they wear more clothes than any other cheerleader in the league. I mean, and I hate to say this, I don't want to go Harvey Weinstein here. I don't want to harass women, but the cheerleaders are basically objectified, personnel. I mean, they're sexual objects. They're out there shaking it. It's the NFL pole dance. It's what it is. Okay, let's face. But we got all these clothes on. They had sweatpants on. They had the yoga. I'm surprised they didn't get a core muscle injury wearing the red Lululemons and then a camo top. I like the camo. I think it's for Veterans Day coming up. Not sure. Like that. But our cheerleaders, they wear so many clothes and they got camo tops, which you don't need the camo tops because none of our cheerleaders. We need breast implants. Just saying. We have very flat. Like our offense was flat. It represented our cheerleaders, represented our offense. They don't need to put camo, over their boobies because you can't see them anyway. You can't see those titties anyway. It was cold last night. Get those nipples out because the nipples are most likely bigger than the breasts. Just saying, hardcore truth here. And what's really important? Titties. Who doesn't love titties? Titties make the world go round. Get them in some Daisy Dukes. We're a redneck town. Daisy Duke that shit up. Cowboy boots and a freaking white wife beater t-shirt, tank top, no bra, cold weather, nipples out. Nipples out! That's what I want. I'm a sick man. I'm a sick man that is not politically correct. Creepy ass cracker. Talk about Peters losing his head. Charles looked good, then fumbled. That's just Charles. I respect him. He's one of the greatest Chiefs. I think he hit 10,000 yards. Much respect. Let's go down the line here. Gaines had a stupid penalty. We talked about Robinson. Tyreek. Smith on fire. Sorry, just going through the notes. I have very little preparation when I do this. We talked, Trevor Siemian was carried across the threshold, Kevin Spacey style, House of Cards type of offense they have there. But great D. Ron Parker, the law offices of Ron Parker got an interception. A lot of injuries we got to worry about. It's like, thank God Kelsey twisted his ankle. Hopefully it's not a Zach Miller situation where that's scary shit, where you're starting to cut legs off. Pretty soon it's going to be like the freaking Civil War out there in the NFL. They're just going to be giving guys a stick to chew on, and they're going to saw legs off right there. I mean, that's scary shit. I hope Zach Miller gets better. Hope Kelsey's ankle, doesn't need to be sawed off. It seems to be okay, but he's had some problems with that. Talked about Fisher getting beat again, which caused a sack and a Alex Smith fumbled, though he hasn't thrown an interception. He's given those duties to Tyreek Hill. That's a good thing. Talked about the bad red zone play calling. Once again, we had a 3rd and 10 throw for 4. Not good. Maybe we get Carlos Carson was honored last night. Can he sign him up as wide receiver? Get him in there now. We need a wide receiver. Still having problems stopping the run. One of the more exciting things in the game last night was hearing about the Garoppolo trade, to Guapo Garoppolo or Guapo? What's the drink? Grappo. You drink Grappo. Garoppolo is a good-looking guy, so we'll call him Guapo Garoppolo to the 49ers. I mean, I just don't, making moves. Patriots make moves. Is that a game changer for the Patriots? No. Obviously more so for the Niners. But the Chiefs need to make a move. This new GM, can't remember his name right now, but he needs to get on it. Like I said, we gotta beat Dallas this week. I'm gonna predict it right now. We beat the Cowboys 35-27 with or without Zeke. Preferably without Zeke. Another guy from the Murder Factory. Gotta love it. A lot of cases. And Kansas City was originally the Dallas Texans. So this could be a home game for the Chiefs. I'm going to go out, and hopefully I'm not wrong again. But I'm going to say Kansas City beats Dallas going into the bye week. Good buzz. Don't want to lose going into a bye week. And the Cowboys are tough. But hopefully Zeke is out. But Jerry Jones will make it rain for a federal judge. And probably he will play. What other? Oh, did you see Virgil Green, the tight end? I think they did a little story. Great guy. I think like a man of the year type guy. But he kind of looks like a chick. I kind of got a Medea vibe from Virgil Green. I don't know if you noticed that, but kind of looks like a chick. We talked about the bad hammy. Andy Reid, he does coach, and the team plays down to the level of the competition. He always wants to keep it close and, rely on the field goal kicker when he should blow teams out. I love the Big Red One, but I'm going to have to call Andy Reid the soccer mom. He's the soccer mom on the sideline, handing out orange slices, make sure everybody, feels good about themselves. Don't want to blow anybody out. It's okay if the game ends in a tie or low scoring, and we rely on kicking than actual big dick player scoring. The soccer mom. And our offense kind of, our run defense and our offense lay down, just like that dude lay down for Kevin Spacey. Just saying. It was wrong. Talk about Gruden bugging me. 12 yards of offense for the Chiefs in the third quarter. Come on. That's, granted, great defense, but that's a bit of a red flag right there. Big fourth down for the Big fourth down for our defense. Stopped Denver on that one. That was good. Talk about Sorensen. Shouldn't be the leading tackler. Nice hit on special teams by Pierre Louis. Usually a guy with the French name. Not too aggressive. Would surrender, olay it, kind of like Marcus Peters did on that run. And why throw to frickin' Harris? This is another reason we need to trade or get a wide receiver. That Harris guy can't catch anything. He's an ex-basketball player. You think he'd have some hands, but what did he play in basketball? Was he the hoop? Because that's basically how he plays football. I'm going to make a hoop and just let the ball go through my hands. And then, do we get 2 points for that? Or 2? And count it, and 1, Harris? Your hands are nothing more than a basketball hoop because Alex Smith dropping it in there like he's playing freaking pop and shot, and it just goes through your hands. But we're not getting 2 for it. Oh. Trevor Seaman, representing Cocktober well. We talked about that. Why throw to Harris? Core muscle. I felt bad for the homecoming from Charles, but good for the Chiefs. I predicted they tear. You know what Denver should do for offense? I mean, I know John Elway is not happy with any of his quarterbacks, and maybe they'll get one in the draft, trade up for one in the draft. But now, just go down to the Air Force Academy, since you could run the single wing. Just run the option. Just have 3 running backs back there. Be done with it for the rest of the year. Because you'd be better off than with Seaman, most likely Lynch, and that Brock Starr has proven to be nothing more than blue steel. The no interception is good for Smith. Last night, a team with offense, beats us. We're good, though. That was a great win because, obviously, we beat Denver in the division. The Raiders, I love me some Derek Carr, and I was impressed with what they did against the Chiefs. I don't like Denver. I don't like the Chargers. They're on a bye this week. They lost in the Patriot, which Phillip Rivers has never beaten Tom Brady. No surprise there. I think the Chargers are done. They're on a bye week. Just say bye to the Chargers. Unfortunately, the Raiders, I thought they would go on a run after this. And I like the Raiders. But I think they're done. Denver is a half a team. The problem is they won a Super Bowl with a half a team, but they had Peyton Manning, a little better offensive line. They're not going to get away with half a team this year. Don't like the Donkeys. They're done now. I think we grabbed the division by the throat, Dominican Sue style. Grab it by the throat. We got the Cowboys coming up. We always have a problem with mobile quarterbacks, so Dak could have a hell of a game. But why not run the ball against the Chiefs? And like I said, it's going to come down to Zeke, but I say we beat the Cowboys because Andy Reid usually coaches very well against the NFC. Got a good record with the Chiefs against the NFC. It's an old NFC East rival, So I think the Chiefs pull this one off. We got glaring holes. Like I said, the running game. If Zeke Elliott plays, they could go off for 150 and 2 touchdowns. But the Cowboys secondary sucks, so I think if we can get Tyreek in the hill, don't have him throw, have him catch. Tyreek, he's the fastest man in the NFL. Don't throw, catch. Unless the plan is, I can see this. Tyreek Hill, do that same play, kick it out, throw a deep bomb to yourself, because he could pull that off. Throw a touchdown pass to yourself. That's the only thing that is acceptable. Tyreek, because I have him on fantasy, I'd love to see that, and Alex Smith. But, that would be perfect. A lot of points there. Alex Smith throws to Tyreek in the flat, obviously behind Alex. He throws a 50-yard bomb, runs under it, catches it for a touchdown. Everybody wins, mostly the Chiefs. So that's the way things are looking now. We can't be too confident after this game. And mad respect to the Denver D. No respect for their offense. And I never feel bad for the Broncos, ever. But the Cowboys, that's going to be a good test, I think the best team in the NFC right now are obviously the Seahawks. They've upgraded. So if we have hopes of, and Philadelphia, but Philadelphia lost at left tackle. I guess they're moving, they lose Peters or they moving Lane Johnson over. They traded for Ajay. They made a move. There's a lot of similarities, a lot of simpatico between the Eagles and the Chiefs. They're very similar teams with similar pieces. Philadelphia seems to be a little more aggressive on things. They got a young quarter. We're in a good situation. I wish Alex Smith the best. I hope we have a controversy. I hope he has an MVP year. Hell, I'd love it if he won us a Super Bowl. And we got the makings. We got holes. We got to somehow figure out with the run D and get us another wide receiver and get the Snow Mexican, the Canadian, back in the offensive line. And we'll be doing okay. We'll be doing okay. As good as anybody else, other than, the Steelers are our biggest problem, I think, this year. But, who knows? This has been a bizarre year. But we have some holes we got to fix. Let's get it done. Tell me where I'm wrong, because I don't mind. I'm not Fonzie. Wrong. I don't mind saying I'm wrong. I've been wrong all year about this Chiefs team. I hope I'm not wrong about my prediction this week. But who freaking knows? I mean, does anybody know what's going on this year? And please, I think we got a couple hours left before the trade deadline. Get me Paris Hilton, T.Y. Hilton. Get me a Hilton. Give me something. Give me some Hilton points. Get a free room at the Hilton to put Albert Wilson in to rehab that bad hammy. We need something. We need something. We need a Super Bowl is what we freaking need. We need a Super Bowl for the murder factory, the Kansas City Chiefs. That's my shot of the day. I'm drinking. I'm stopping thinking. Did I ever start? Double hammer strike. Triple bitch slap to the Broncos because we tapped that donkey ass. Tap that donkey ass with a little donkey roll. Little donkey roll in the end zone with the reverse cowgirl. Gallop down that shit. I just love beating the Broncos. Can't stand them. Going down. Chiefs. Going down to Dallas. Chiefs beat the Cowboys 35-27. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong.